But this wasn't the Stephen Curry that LeBron James had been quietly investigating for months. What the basketball world didn't know was that behind Curry's squeaky clean public image lay a business operation that had crossed serious ethical lines to gain competitive advantages. LeBron James destroys Stephen Curry in court. Judge left speechless. The federal courthouse in Los Angeles fell completely silent as LeBron James slowly stood up, his 6 feet 9 inches frame towering over the mahogany defense table. Across the aisle, Stephen Curry sat motionless, his usual confident smile replaced by visible tension. Judge Patricia Martinez had just asked a simple question about their $500 million endorsement dispute. But what LeBron was about to reveal would shatter everything the basketball world thought they knew about the NBA's biggest rivalry. What happened next would become the most talked about courtroom confrontation in sports history, forever changing how the world viewed these two basketball legends. Before diving into this extraordinary legal showdown, make sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel so you won't miss our latest coverage of inspiring stories where preparation meets opportunity. The dispute began when both superstars competed for an exclusive endorsement deal with Apex Sports, valued at $500 million over 10 years. The contract included partial ownership and creative control, the chance to build a business empire beyond their playing careers. Stephen Curry had built his reputation around a carefully crafted, humble champion image. His baby-faced appearance and wholesome family man persona had made him the perfect spokesperson for brands targeting mainstream America. With 3 championships, 2 MVP awards, and a shooting ability that revolutionized the game, Curry represented what marketing executives called the everyman superhero, someone fans could relate to despite his extraordinary talent. LeBron James had evolved far beyond basketball. During flights between games, he had spent years studying contract law with private tutors from Harvard and Yale. Few realized he'd essentially earned a business law degree through intensive study. After early career experiences where he felt outmaneuvered by team owners and league executives, LeBron had made a conscious decision to become as knowledgeable about business and law as he was about basketball. The trouble began when Apex Sports executives, after months of negotiations with both camps, made a shocking discovery. Internal documents revealed that Stephen Curry's representatives had been engaged in what appeared to be sophisticated corporate espionage, systematically accessing confidential information about LeBron's negotiation strategy, financial terms, and even personal business philosophy discussions. The discovery came through whistleblower Sarah Chen inside Curry's management company, Symmetry Sports Group. She had secretly recorded meetings where Curry's team discussed using stolen information to undermine LeBron's position. The company had hired former intelligence operatives to gather information on competitors and used sophisticated surveillance techniques. They weren't just competing fairly, they were engaging in illegal surveillance, Chen testified in a sealed deposition. Mr. Curry had personally approved the budget for these operations. When I raised concerns internally, I was told this is how business is done at the highest level. When confronted, Curry's representatives denied wrongdoing and threatened legal action. This forced Apex to suspend negotiations until the matter could be resolved. LeBron's response surprised everyone in both the basketball and business communities. Instead of hiring expensive lawyers, he requested direct mediation with Curry present. He wanted to resolve this personally, one professional to another. The decision wasn't made lightly. LeBron had spent weeks consulting with legal experts and strategizing the best approach to address what he saw as a fundamental breach of trust. LeBron insisted on handling this himself, revealed his business manager Maverick Carter. He said this was about integrity in the sport he loved and demonstrating that conflicts could be resolved through honest dialogue rather than legal warfare. Judge Patricia Martinez, a respected federal mediator known for her work in high-profile entertainment disputes, agreed to oversee the proceedings. At 52, Martinez had built a reputation for her no-nonsense approach and ability to cut through celebrity drama to find the truth. Both players arrived at the downtown Los Angeles courthouse with minimal entourages. LeBron appeared calm and thoroughly prepared in a tailored navy suit, carrying a leather briefcase. Curry seemed nervous, constantly whispering to his attorney and avoiding eye contact with LeBron. "We're here to resolve serious allegations of corporate espionage and contract interference," Judge Martinez began, her tone measured but carrying authority. "While this is an informal mediation, I expect complete honesty and professional behavior from both parties." Curry's attorney, David Thompson, launched an aggressive opening, standing with practiced confidence. "Your Honor, my client has done nothing more than engage in standard competitive business practices. These allegations appear to be a desperate attempt to distract from Mr. James's inability to secure this endorsement deal through merit alone." This was LeBron's moment. He stood slowly, his imposing 6 feet 9 inches frame casting a shadow across the table as he rose to his full height. Instead of the anger many expected, his expression showed something more powerful, the quiet confidence of someone completely prepared for this moment. "Your Honor," LeBron began, his voice clear and measured, "I appreciate Mr. Thompson's theatrical approach, but I've always believed that in matters of serious importance, facts speak louder than performance." He opened his briefcase with deliberate care and removed several meticulously organized documents. The preparation was immediately evident to everyone in the room. This wasn't someone scrambling to make a case, but rather someone who had spent months building an airtight argument. "6 months ago, I became concerned about unusual patterns in the negotiation process with Apex Sports," LeBron continued, placing the first document on the overhead projector with practiced precision. "Executives at the company began mentioning specific details about my negotiation strategy, personal business philosophy, and confidential financial projections that I had only shared in private meetings with my own trusted advisors." He placed the first document on the projector, a detailed timeline of information leaks cross-referenced with meeting dates and participant lists. The level of detail was extraordinary, suggesting months of careful investigation and documentation. "Initially, I assumed this was merely coincidental, perhaps careless talk or normal industry gossip," LeBron explained, his tone remaining calm and professional. "However, when the pattern not only persisted but became increasingly specific, I realized that something far more systematic was occurring." A second document showed telecommunications records. These are official telecommunications records obtained through proper legal channels showing 47 separate phone calls between Mr. Curry's business manager, Michael Rodriguez, and a former Apex Sports intern named Jake Morrison, occurring between January 15th and March 22nd of this year. Curry's face grew visibly pale as LeBron continued with methodical prosecutorial precision. "Mr. Morrison," LeBron continued, now moving with the systematic approach of an experienced prosecutor presenting evidence to a jury, was terminated from his position at Apex Sports in late March for violating confidentiality agreements and gaining unauthorized access to sensitive corporate documents. Judge Martinez leaned forward, her interest clearly piqued by the direction and apparent strength of LeBron's presentation. She had mediated hundreds of disputes over the years, but rarely had she seen someone present evidence with this level of organization. "Mr. James, are you alleging that this Mr. Morrison provided confidential information belonging to you to Mr. Curry's representatives?" "I'm not alleging it, Your Honor," LeBron replied with quiet but unmistakable authority that sent a chill through the room. "I'm documenting it with irrefutable evidence that would stand up in any court of law." LeBron placed a third document on the projector. "This is Morrison's signed affidavit admitting to selling confidential information to Symmetry Sports Group for $75,000. The room erupted in hushed but intense whispers as the full scope of the allegations became clear. Several journalists in the gallery began taking furious notes, realizing they were witnessing what could become one of the biggest sports scandals in recent memory. Curry's attorney attempted damage control, shooting to his feet in what had suddenly become a crisis situation. Your Honor, these allegations are extremely serious, and we would need substantial time to review and verify these documents before responding appropriately. That won't be necessary, a voice said from across the room, cutting through the tension. Everyone turned in surprise to see Stephen Curry standing up slowly, his face displaying a mixture of resignation, determination, and genuine remorse. "This has gone far enough," Curry said firmly. "LeBron deserves to hear the truth." Judge Martinez studied Curry carefully. "You have the right to remain silent. Are you certain you want to proceed?" "I am, Your Honor." What happened next shocked everyone. LeBron, you're right about the information gathering," Curry began. "My team did pay Morrison, but when I discovered what they were doing, I immediately ordered them to stop." Curry placed his own documents on the projector. Emails showing he had demanded his team cease all activities and threatened to terminate his relationship with them. "But Stephen," LeBron said, breaking his silence for the first time since his presentation began, "if you ordered them to stop, why didn't you contact me directly? Why didn't you report this to Apex Sports?" Curry's carefully maintained composure finally cracked, and for the first time since the hearing began, the usually confident NBA superstar looked genuinely vulnerable and deeply conflicted. "Because I was terrified, LeBron. I've spent my entire career building a reputation as someone kids could look up to, someone who represented integrity and fair play both on and off the court. The thought of being associated with corporate espionage and cheating, even if I wasn't directly responsible, was absolutely devastating to me." He paused, gathering himself before continuing with what was clearly a difficult admission. "I've watched other athletes throughout my career have their legacies completely destroyed by association with scandals they didn't create. I was paralyzed by the fear that coming forward would end everything I had worked for, even though staying silent was eating me alive every single day. I was planning to withdraw from negotiations quietly," Curry confirmed. "I figured if I stepped away, LeBron would get the deal he deserved and nobody would know what happened. It seemed like the only way to make things right without destroying my career." LeBron remained silent for a moment, processing this revelation. The room held its breath as the two superstars faced each other. "You were willing to sacrifice $500 million rather than expose your team's betrayal?" LeBron asked. "I couldn't live with benefiting from something fundamentally wrong." Judge Martinez spoke up. "Mr. Curry, while your intentions may have been honorable, your silence still left Mr. James dealing with consequences. How do you propose to address that harm?" Curry walked around the table to face LeBron directly. "I want to make a formal proposal. First, you should get the Apex deal, but more than that, I want to establish a $50 million fund to prevent corporate espionage in sports." The room fell silent. This fund would be jointly managed by us, protecting younger athletes from manipulation. We'd create transparency standards and provide legal resources. LeBron studied Curry's face, finding no deception. "That's exactly the leadership our sport needs." He extended his hand. "That's a proposal I can support." They shook hands, but LeBron wasn't finished. "However, there's still accountability needed for damages caused." LeBron pulled out his own resolution framework. "First, you retain rights to future opportunities after implementing transparency protocols. Second, Symmetry pays $2 million in damages to my foundation. Third, Morrison is permanently banned from sports marketing. Fourth, we expand the joint fund to include annual ethics summits." Curry agreed to all terms immediately. Then, LeBron delivered his final surprise. "Instead of competing separately, what if we approached Apex together with a joint endorsement proposal?" Curry's eyes widened. "After everything that's happened? You've owned your mistakes and proposed solutions. That's exactly who I want to partner with. We could show young athletes that rivals can become partners in making their sport better." Judge Martinez stood up, moved by the transformation. In 23 years of mediation, I've never seen anything like this. You came as adversaries and you're leaving as partners committed to improving your industry. The aftermath created immediate and lasting ripple effects throughout professional sports and the business world. Within 48 hours, Apex Sports executives had agreed to the joint endorsement proposal, creating a $600 million deal that was split equally between LeBron and Curry, making it the largest collaborative endorsement contract in sports history. More significantly, news of their partnership sparked a broader conversation about ethics in sports marketing and corporate responsibility. Their transparency fund received contributions from other athletes who had experienced similar issues, and their ethics summit became a mandatory educational event for all rookies entering major professional sports leagues. Symmetry Sports Group, facing public scrutiny, fired the executives responsible and implemented comprehensive ethics training. Jake Morrison's permanent ban from sports marketing sent a clear message throughout the industry about the consequences of corporate espionage, leading to stronger ethical guidelines across the sports business community. For LeBron, the episode reinforced his reputation as a sophisticated leader who could handle complex challenges with wisdom. For Curry, what could have been career-ending became a defining moment of character. Judge Martinez later described the mediation as a masterclass in conflict resolution and began using it as a case study for other legal professionals. The joint campaign launched 6 months later with the groundbreaking tagline, "Compete with Honor," featuring both players in advertisements that emphasized achieving excellence through integrity rather than victory at any cost. The campaign became one of the most successful and influential sports marketing initiatives in history, generating over $2 billion in global revenue and inspiring similar collaborations across multiple industries. But perhaps the most lasting impact was on their relationship. What began as rivalry evolved into partnership focused on improving their sport and protecting future athletes. The story became legendary in both sports and business circles, proving that serious disputes could be resolved when people choose character over ego and collaboration over destruction. As LeBron later reflected, "That day taught me that sometimes the greatest victories come not from defeating opponents, but from turning conflict into collaboration." More significantly, news of their partnership sparked a broader conversation about ethics in sports marketing and corporate responsibility. Their transparency fund received contributions from other athletes who had experienced similar issues, and their ethics summit became a mandatory educational event for all rookies entering major professional sports leagues. Symmetry Sports Group, facing public scrutiny, fired the executives responsible and implemented comprehensive ethics training. Jake Morrison's permanent ban from sports marketing sent a clear message throughout the industry about the consequences of corporate espionage, leading to stronger ethical guidelines across the sports business community. For LeBron, the episode reinforced his reputation as a sophisticated leader who could handle complex challenges with wisdom. For Curry, what could have been career-ending became a defining moment of character. Judge Martinez later described the mediation as a masterclass in conflict resolution and began using it as a case study for other legal professionals. The joint campaign launched 6 months later with the groundbreaking tagline, "Compete with Honor," featuring both players in advertisements that emphasized achieving excellence through integrity rather than victory at any cost. The campaign became one of the most successful and influential sports marketing initiatives in history, generating over $2 billion in global revenue and inspiring similar collaborations across multiple industries. But perhaps the most lasting impact was on their relationship. What began as rivalry evolved into partnership focused on improving their sport and protecting future athletes. The story became legendary in both sports and business circles, proving that serious disputes could be resolved when people choose character over ego and collaboration over destruction. As LeBron later reflected, "That day taught me that sometimes the greatest victories come not from defeating opponents, but from turning conflict into collaboration."